I kept replaying that night in my head like some cursed movie scene I could not shut off. Every time I tried to convince myself it meant nothing, another memory came crawling back into my brain. The way she rested against me, the warmth of her body, the way her lips brushed mine while she was too drunk to even fully understand what she was doing. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe it only mattered because she was drunk enough to forget herself for a few hours. The sober version of her probably regretted every second of it. I kept telling myself this whole situation was karma. Back in high school, I rejected girls without thinking twice. Some of them were nice too. I just never cared enough to notice their feelings. Now life finally found a way to humble me. Maybe this was justice balancing the scales. Maybe some people get mercy and others get exactly what they deserve. By Sunday night, I was back in my dorm trying to prepare for another miserable Monday morning. The weekend energy was already dead across campus. The loud music outside had faded. The hallways smelled like leftover food and cheap detergent. Everyone was slowly turning back into exhausted college students after pretending to be invincible for 2 days. I was laying on my bed scrolling through random videos on my phone when one of the guys from our friend group texted me asking if I was coming to dinner. I stared at the message longer than necessary because honestly, I still had no idea how I even ended up with this group. In high school, friendships felt impossible. People judged everything about you before they even spoke to you, but college was different. Here you could accidentally sit beside someone twice and suddenly you were friends. It felt weird how fast life changed once I moved out. College had already become the first time for a lot of things. My first time drinking alcohol, my first time getting high, my first time stumbling through parties packed with strangers, my first time having actual friends instead of just classmates, and now, apparently, my first kiss too. Even worse, it happened with a girl who probably did not even see me that way. I tried not to think about that part, but it kept digging into me. What bothered me most was realizing how disappointed I felt. I wanted to act like I did not care. I wanted to laugh it off like it was some random drunken moment that meant nothing. But every time I tried lying to myself, my chest tightened. I cared way more than I wanted to admit. I ended up skipping dinner and ordering pizza instead. I was starving and honestly not in the mood to socialize. While I waited for the delivery guy, I sat by the window watching students walk across campus with backpacks and hoodies while the cold evening wind pushed leaves across the sidewalks. Everything looked strangely calm outside, while my head felt like complete chaos. When the delivery notification finally popped up on my phone, I grabbed my wallet and headed downstairs. I was halfway through the hallway when I saw her. My heart reacted before my brain even had time to process it. She was walking toward me holding a small grocery bag against her chest. The second her eyes met mine, her entire expression changed. Her cheeks turned pink instantly and she gave me this nervous little smile that looked forced but also strangely genuine at the same time. She quietly said hey like she wasn't sure whether she should even speak to me. I froze for half a second trying to figure out what that expression meant. Did she feel awkward because she regretted what happened? Was she embarrassed, uncomfortable? I was usually good at reading people, but this girl completely scrambled my instincts. I could not tell if she wanted distance from me or if she was just as confused as I was. I awkwardly waved back like an idiot while trying not to stare too hard. The hallway suddenly felt way too small as she walked past me. Then I caught the scent of her perfume for the first time. It hit me instantly, soft and sweet without being overpowering. The kind of smell that sticks in your head afterward whether you wanted to or not. I hated how much I noticed it. I felt creepy for even paying attention, but my brain was already recording every little detail about her without permission. She kept walking toward the elevators while I stood there for another second pretending my heart was not trying to punch through my ribs. Then I forced myself to keep moving toward the entrance to grab my pizza. Back in my room, I tried distracting myself the only way I knew how. I threw on a soccer game, balanced the pizza box on my chest, and started playing FIFA with my controller while sitting in complete darkness except for the television screen. My dorm looked disgusting. Clothes covered the floor. Empty bottles sat near my desk. My roommate had left one of his hoodies hanging from the ceiling fan for some reason. The whole place looked like a depression cave. I took a bite of pizza while staring at the screen, but even that betrayed me. The melted cheese stretched between the slice and my mouth, and immediately my brain dragged me back to the memory of her lips against mine that night at the party. I almost choked from frustration. Get out of my head already, I muttered to myself while throwing the controller beside me. I sat upright and rubbed both hands through my hair, trying to reset my thoughts. Then I looked across the room and noticed my roommate's cologne sitting on the dresser. Instantly, I thought about her perfume again. I let out this exhausted groan and leaned back against the wall. It felt ridiculous. I barely even knew this girl, yet somehow she had completely hijacked my brain after one drunken night. I hated how weak it made me feel. I used to think guys who obsessed over girls were pathetic. Now here I was spiraling because some girl smelled nice in a hallway. A few minutes later, somebody suddenly yelled my name from outside the dorm room. I recognized the voice immediately. There was only one person loud enough to sound that aggressive and cheerful at the same time. Before I could even stand properly, the door swung open and Kylie stormed inside without waiting for permission like she owned the place. She stopped dead in the middle of the room and looked around with absolute disgust painted across her face. "Oh my God, your room smells like something died in here," she said while covering her nose dramatically. Then she looked at me sitting on the bed surrounded by pizza boxes and clothes and started laughing. "Dude, you literally look like one of those sad internet memes. You need help." Kylie had known me since middle school. She was 2 years older than me and had spent most of our lives acting like some aggressive combination of an older sister and a tired single mother. She insulted me constantly, but somehow it never actually felt malicious. That was just her personality. She walked over and poked my stomach with 2 fingers while shaking her head in disappointment. "You seriously need to lose weight," she said. "You spend all day hiding in this cave playing games like some depressed goblin. Get your life together." I flipped her off without even reacting because this was normal behavior between us. She laughed and started heading back toward the door before suddenly stopping like she remembered something important. She turned around and leaned against the doorway. "Oh yeah, there is another frat party tomorrow night," she said casually. "You should come this time too, honestly. I was happy seeing you at the last one. I did not know you could actually leave your room voluntarily." Then she smirked and disappeared into the hallway before I could answer. The second the door closed, my stomach tightened again. Another party, which probably meant she would be there too. I immediately started imagining every possible awkward scenario. What if she acted like nothing happened? What if she avoided me entirely? Worse, what if she got drunk again and tried to kiss me again in front of everyone? The idea alone made my chest feel weird. I knew how that would look. Like I was hanging around waiting for her to get drunk enough to want me again. The thought made me feel pathetic. No, absolutely not. I decided right there I was not going. It was safer to stay in my room where nothing could happen. I could play games, smoke a little weed, and avoid embarrassing myself. That sounded way easier than risking another night of confusion around a girl I could not stop thinking about. Still, even after making that decision, my eyes drifted toward the dark window beside my bed while her face replayed in my mind again. And the worst part was realizing I already know I was lying